Welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WGBC TV Big Fox. I am your host, Frank Acom, and we're so glad that you've joined us this morning. And we have a lot to talk about. Some of the issues of the day, obviously anti-Semitism, unfortunately. We'll be talking about that. Also, a lot about the presidential race. How we doing? No audio. Okay, hold on just a second. We're going to go to a quick fix here. Let's see. Let's go back to the roof cam real quick. All right, let's see if that helps. We're just getting a few bugs worked out here, folks. Please bear with us. I think we should have some audio. We're getting some emails in. How we doing? No audio. Okay. Is this a little bit better? You got anything? All right. We are good to go. We're working some bugs out. Folks, thanks so much for joining us. I know this week we've had our ups and downs, but this is all for the better. It's going to be a great show today and from here on out. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the comments that we've been receiving. As always, you can reach out to me. You see the number on the bottom of your screen. It's as simple as texting. You can also call and leave me a voicemail at any time, not just during the program, or you can email me at frank@wydctv.com. Okay, on this morning's broadcast, we're going to be talking about, unfortunately, anti-Semitism, not just on college campuses. We're also going to be talking about Hunter Biden, a big story breaking from overnight. Maybe a little bit here about the Republican debate and about the presidential race itself. So I want to make one more announcement before we take our first break. And again, I just got to say, all of this is so much for the better. This show is going to be so smooth. So thank you. This week, I know we've had a few little things, but I think overall, this is a very, very, very good thing. Coming up, speaking of very good things, coming up on Friday next week, the 15th, we have the holiday special of Frankly Speaking, 2 hours. Mark your calendars. Starting at 6 a.m. We're going to have music. We're going to have very special guests. I can't give any away, but very, very special guests. We're going to talk to the good folks at the Salvation Army because that's what this program is about. It's to benefit the Salvation Army of Corning. So please mark your calendar. I'm already very proud of it, but I know when it's all said and done, we're going to be very, very proud of that broadcast. And hey, it's always good to get into the Christmas spirit. So let's take our first break. When we come back, the issues of the day. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WGBC TV. Big Fox will be right back.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselson's Hot Tub. Hesselson's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselson's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselson's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselson's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Has hernia surgery left you with pain, cramping, bowel disorder, even more surgery? Signs a bad product may have been used, and you deserve cash for your pain.
A jury has just awarded $41 million to a hernia mesh victim. So call now.
Call the law firm of Betts & Burrill, 855-656-8444.
You may be suffering from a defective product.
855-656-8444, and get the money you deserve.
Look at that beautiful view of Marcus Street here in Corning. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and we are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on, as you saw, historic Marcus Street in Corning. So by now, you may have heard that Penn, the University of Pennsylvania, has lost $100 million. $100 million donation has been rescinded because of their stance on anti-Semitism or lack thereof. The final straw for Ross Stevens, the founder and CEO of Stone Ridge Asset Management, was Tuesday's widely criticized congressional testimony by Penn President Liz McGill. Yes, that I'm so glad they had that hearing because it really exposed to many people that maybe were not aware of how bad things had become on college campuses, where death threats towards Jewish students were deemed some issue of free speech. It was handled so poorly that they actually are having another probe in the House over what has been called, quote, morally bankrupt testimony, likening anti-Semitic threats to free speech. House GOP lawmakers announced just yesterday they were opening a formal investigation into multiple universities over the handling of anti-Semitism on campus. Elise Stefanik, who's really been kind of a star in these hearings, said, after this week's pathetic and morally bankrupt testimony by university presidents when answering my questions, the Education and Workforce Committee is launching an official congressional investigation with the full force of subpoena power into Penn, MIT, and Harvard, and she mentions, and others. I could see potentially Cornell getting wrapped up in this, right down the road, of course, Cornell. We will use our full congressional authority to hold these schools accountable for their failure on the global stage. The investigation will look at the learning environment and disciplinary procedures at those institutions, according to Education and Workforce Committee Chair Virginia Fox. A prominent rabbi has actually quit the Harvard Anti-Semitism Committee because he branded the college's ideology, quote, evil. The system at Harvard, along with the ideology that grips far too many of the students and faculty, the ideology that works only along axes of oppression and places Jews as oppressors and therefore evil, is itself evil, wrote David Wolpe. And you're seeing more exits like this. You're seeing so many people cutting back on their donations. And unfortunately, you may think that higher education is about education, but their focus is the cash cow, whether that's alumni, donations from other organizations, or the students themselves. Now, this inquiry is interesting because even Senator Gillibrand said all three presidents who were at that hearing, quote, should leave their posts, quote, excuse me, you cannot call for the genocide of Jews, the genocide of any group of people, and not say that that's harassment. So asking them to leave their post, and obviously Penn University, University of Pennsylvania, I should say, there's a lot of calls for that president to resign, especially on top of the fact that she just lost a $100 million donation. And sadly, when we talk about this, we focused a lot on college campuses, but it is not just on college campuses. Down the road in Albany, a man fired a shotgun while shouting "Free Palestine" outside an Albany synagogue on the first day of Hanukkah. A deranged man yelling "Free Palestine" fired off a shotgun outside an Albany synagogue, marring the start of Hanukkah and sending state troopers and the New York National Guard on high alert. Now, there was a statement released by our governor, and yes, I know we're moving quickly this morning on a lot of different topics, but we have a lot to get to, playing a little catch-up. But Governor Hochul said, I'm immediately directing the New York State Police and New York National Guard to be on high alert and increase the existing patrols of at-risk sites we had planned for the Hanukkah holiday, including at synagogues, community centers, and working closely with local law enforcement. And it's very sad, and I have a piece, and we can't focus too much on it because it's quite lengthy, but it's so heartbreaking to see the Jewish community who are concerned, scared to even celebrate Hanukkah, whether that's going to the synagogue or whether it's even putting a menorah in their window, as is their tradition. But I'll continue with what Governor Hochul had to say. This builds on the significant efforts we have taken to protect religious communities in the wake of October 7th attacks. Make no mistake, the safety of Jewish New Yorkers is non-negotiable. Any act of anti-Semitism is unacceptable, and undermining public safety at a synagogue on the first night of Hanukkah is even more deplorable. As New Yorkers, we must stand united. This is not who we are. We reject hate anti-Semitism, and violence in all forms. And we have no tolerance for the forces of evil who are trying to tear our communities apart. So a very forceful, and I think a very good statement by Governor Hochul from yesterday's, I don't know what you'd call it, but really attack. Now, when we come back from break, there's a piece by Amy Klein at CNN, and it ties into what I had mentioned with the heartbreaking fact that many members of the Jewish community are not celebrating Hanukkah in the way that they would in the past out of fear. And whether they're watching the news and they see it on college campuses, or they see what happened in Albany or throughout the country, it's a real, serious fear. And Amy Klein gives her, I guess, opinion on something that could be done to show support for the Jewish community. Because we talked about this in the past, where unfortunately, specifically like Amy Klein, some politically liberal Jewish people, really just shocked that the groups that they supported in the past, that they checked all the right boxes and donated to the right people and protested at the right protests, those people not standing now when it matters with those same liberal Jewish people. So again, Amy Klein's going to tell us what we can do to show our support when we come back. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Plan a perfect stay along the Finger Lakes Wine Trail at Vineyard Villas.
Our 1 and 2 bedroom villas overlook the vineyards and Seneca Lake. Enjoy the beautiful sunset with all the comforts of home. Take a stroll through our Concord Vineyard and fully stocked pond. Enjoy a delicious meal at Hector Hideaway, our on-site restaurant. And enjoy a cozy fire at night in your own campfire pit. Make your memories here at the Vineyard Villas.
Hanging logs really hard work and takes too much time. You need to untangle them from the box and then get high up on an unsafe ladder out in the freezing cold. Introducing the brand new Star Shower Ultra 9 Laser Light Show. Now with an incredible 9 different beautiful decorative light patterns for you to choose from. Star Shower Ultra 9 immerses your entire home with a galaxy of thousands of spectacular red and green lights, making your home and yard look more festive than ever. You can select red and green lights that move like shooting stars, or instead have your lights blinking, or choose twinkling stillness. With Star Shower, you can have lights way up high in your house where it's impossible to hang them, and it even works on shrubbery and trees. Star Shower has an automatic light sensor that will turn it on at night and off in the morning. Plus, it's weather resistant and can withstand freezing temperatures. Call or go online now to order Star Shower Ultra 9 for just $39.99. But wait, order now and get an instant $10 discount. So it's only $29.99. That's an amazing deal to decorate your whole home. But that's not all. When you order, ask about how to get the Star Shower remote. Forget going out in the cold, dark night to change your Star Shower pattern or color. Now with the remote, all it takes is the press of a button to change all 9 functions. Breaking news! Star Shower sells out every single year, and this year there are supply chain shortages, so we have very limited inventory. So there's a strict limit of 3 per order. Get the brand new Star Shower Ultra 9 with 9 different laser patterns and brighten up your home today. This is a TV-only offer and you won't find it in stores or on Amazon, so don't delay. It's time to decorate your home with the Star Shower Ultra 9. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-646-9150 or visit ultra9.com. So call 1-800-646-9150 or visit ultra9.com. That's ultra9.com. Order now.
We are back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox. I had my mic off. I know a lot of people got concerned there. Everything's running smooth. Thank you so much for all the comments, the emails. Oh, I forgot to add our virtual wave. Thank you for our virtual wave. Okay. So Amy Klein asked, I think, a very good question. She said, would it be offensive or wrong to have a menorah in our home this Hanukkah, even though we're not Jewish? That's what one of her Christian friends asked her recently, and she said, and this is, I think, an important on a couple different layers, but we'll start with this. I understand her trepidation. In the last few years, many people have complained about cultural exploitation or appropriation. We heard that word used a lot. Taking customs from another culture. In this case, specifically non-Jews taking the tradition. And I guess this was happening a lot a few years back. I don't recall. But even saying, and again, Amy Klein saying, Christians already have their own celebrations of Jesus. They don't need to steal Jewish ones and warp their meaning. Someone told her that about a year ago. That has changed. How different this Hanukkah is from the other one, she writes. This year, many Jews are afraid to light their own menorahs. It's so heartbreaking. Or show their Judaism publicly by wearing a Star of David. Because they fear, and it's a real fear, of being attacked. From Williamsburg, Virginia to New Brunswick, Canada. We had it in California recently, where people are canceling celebrations for fear of violence, you name it. That's why some have called for everyone to light menorahs in a show of support for Jews. And that's why I mentioned this. And this is a great piece. I wouldn't say I normally agree with Amy Klein, but I think there's some very good points that have been raised. Project Menorah, whose tagline is "Only Love Lives Here," is asking every ally who lights a menorah this year to post it on social media. The only thing that can defeat the darkness is light. Please add yours to ours, they write. She said, despite my fears, this is Amy Klein, I'm going to wear my Jewish star, attend public holiday gatherings, and place our lit menorah in a space for the world to see. This Hanukkah, I hope I can be a force of light in the world, a world without fear, without anti-Semitism, without war, and I welcome all those who will be a force with me. So I wanted to pass that along to you, kind of an initiative to show your support. One last thing on this before we get to Hunter Biden and I take a break here. There's an exclusive interview, and it's at the New York Post this morning. Israeli President Isaac Herzog discussed the college bosses, the ones that are losing so much money because of their, you can almost say at this point, support of anti-Semitism, said, can't they understand this is a fight against evil? This is a really good interview that the New York Post had, specifically Douglas Murray had with the Israeli president. And I just wanted to mention it before we go to break. Okay, a couple other things before we talk about Hunter Biden. There is some new information about the Biden run candidacy, also about Trump. I don't know. There's so many kind of one-off stories to get to as well. So we're going to try to get to as much of it as we can. That's why I'm going to take our next break. Please stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. We will be right back.
It's that time of year again. The White Elephant Gift Exchange, where you always end up with, well, let's call them interesting gifts. I'm not even sure what this one is. But wait, there is always that one gift that everyone wants and everyone steals. And in the end, only one lucky person walks away with the coveted prize. It's Quick Fill gift card season. Quick Fill. Merry Christmas, America.
If you struggle to keep up with conversations, if you have trouble hearing the TV or radio, Nano Hearing Aids wants to help you hear better. Because when you hear better, you're actually going to feel better and live a happier, even healthier life. And Nano Hearing Aids is offering not one, but two very special, possibly once-in-a-lifetime offers. Special offer number one, when you buy any Nano OTC hearing aid, Nano will give you a pair of personal sound amplifiers absolutely free. If you have a little trouble hearing but don't need a hearing aid, these are great. Special offer two, today Nano is offering an amazing deal on their CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids. Today you can order a full pair of completely in-canal Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. Plus, Nano offers great financing. Payments from only $26.81 a month. That's around 88 cents a day. But supplies are limited, so call now.
1-800-759-6001.
The Nano CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids are extremely easy to use, and they're nearly invisible. And since they're completely in canal, nothing shows on the back of your ear. so most people will never even see them. And today you can purchase a pair of fully rechargeable CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. This is one amazing deal, but Nano has a second incredible deal. Because when you buy a Nano CIC Recharge at the low price of $297, Nano will give you a pair of Nano personal sound amplifiers free. So you'll get both a pair of OTC hearing aids and a pair of personal sound amplifiers for only $297. That's $297 for both. Payments on the CIC Recharge start at $26.81 a month. That's 88 cents a day. But remember, supplies are limited. Once they're gone, this offer is gone and will not be repeated. So call now.
1-800-759-6001. 1-800-759-6001.
Thank you again for joining us here on Frankly Speaking on WYDC TV Big Fox. I am your host, Frank Aiken, broadcasting live, and I'd say smoothly, from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. Let's talk Hunter Biden for just a moment. Big news story coming out yesterday. Hunter Biden has been indicted on 9 tax charges. He is looking at a penalty of up to 17 years. Mostly related, these tax charges related to what you would say his lavish, maybe hard partying lifestyle. According to Victor Nava, Hunter Biden was indicted on 9 charges yesterday, including 3 felonies, in part for allegedly dodging more than $1 million in taxes. And it was over a 4-year period. The 3 felonies leveled against President Biden's 53-year-old son, who faces a maximum penalty of 17 years in prison if convicted on all counts, include 1 count tax evasion for his 2018 personal taxes and 2 counts of filing a false return for his 2018 personal taxes and on a corporate income tax return for his company. I don't know how you pronounce this, but I'm going to try. Wasco PC. He has also been hit with 6 misdemeanor counts of failure to pay and failure to file charges for the 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 tax years. Oh, that's 2 waves there. Quote, the defendant engaged in a 4-year scheme to not pay at least $1.4 million in self-assessed federal taxes he owed for tax years 2016 through 2019, said David Wise. In furtherance of the scheme, Hunter subverted the payroll and tax withholding process of his own company by withdrawing millions and spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle rather than paying his bills. I don't want to get too much in the weeds of what the definition of a lavish lifestyle is or extravagant lifestyle is, because I know we have kids that want to prepare and be the most up-to-date and informed before going to school that watch this program. So we'll just say he spent it on drugs, escorts, girlfriends, luxury hotels and rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of personal nature. In short, everything he paid, he spent cash on everything but his taxes, is what Wise is quoted as saying there. So looking at 17 years potentially in prison. The New York Post breaks down how he spent his cash instead of paying his taxes. I mean, look at some of this, $1.64 million in ATM withdrawals. $683,212 for payments to, quote, various women. $397,530 for clothing and accessories. I don't want to keep going through the numbers. I know it's a little hard when you don't see it up on the screen. But I will say $188,960 on adult entertainment. And the list goes on and on. So what does this all mean? A lot of people saying this is a perfect storm for the president, right as we near we are in campaign season, but as we enter the year that should see a hard-fought campaign, but we've talked about this in the past on the program. Will it be a hard-fought campaign? Will the president run like last time? He said, as you know, that he wouldn't be running if Trump weren't running. It shows a little bit of his ego, because I think the polls show that nearly anybody else would have a fight against Trump as well. I mean, you know, just the nature of it. And I don't think Biden's the perfect candidate. There's a lot of people that weighed in on this that we'll get to a little bit later on in the program. But will he campaign like he did before with the cliche now, but of campaigning from his basement, not giving a lot of public speeches, because look what happens when he does. Now, some people, again, calling for him to drop out, but if he does, I mean, it would have had to been really before this. I'm looking at the date. But if not, it's getting very, very close. Now, but back to Hunter. So, CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Perez sat down for this interview, saying, and I think this is very telling too, for Hunter Biden, this has been one of the most frustrating parts of this experience, obviously. He was minutes away from having his entire ordeal put behind him, and instead he's now facing these charges, all because a judge asked him very frankly appropriate questions. That judge just didn't ask him questions. Yeah, think about how close he got off to receiving that sweetheart deal. That's been one of the biggest criticisms of all this. So she simply asked whether Hunter Biden and his lawyers understood what the terms of this deal entailed, what many have labeled a sweetheart deal. And everything sort of fell apart after his lawyer said, essentially, we don't have a deal anymore, Your Honor. Yeah, they got really, for lack of a better word, cocky, thinking that they could get an even better deal, and the judge wasn't having it. And I've seen a lot of people say this. Kudos to the judge for not just rubber stamping it. And so that's how we are here. This was going to be put to bed with a simple misdemeanor deal. Now we've got felony charges added onto it. Charles Kreitz put together a piece at Fox News of what some, if you will, legal experts had to say about this. Former Representative Sean Duffy said, I think a lot of people felt that David Wise was going to let these charges skate, and Hunter Biden would never be held accountable for making millions of dollars overseas. And a lot of people will say that was inappropriate. Duffy also surmised that if legal conditions worsen for the Bidens in the Los Angeles case, the Democrats are going to seek an, quote, off-ramp and look to the hair gel governor, meaning Gavin Newsom from California. It's got to be one of the factors. You know, I had mentioned before about the concerns and the criticisms that Democrats have about Biden's campaign so far. You know, seems to be kind of behind the eight ball, not really up to snuff at this point in the campaign. And then you add the cons, if you will. You've got the age that Democrats and Republicans seem to agree on, that it's a major concern, the physical well-being and the mental well-being. You add on top of this what's happening with Hunter, potentially an impeachment. Well, right now it's an inquiry, but we're looking at maybe impeachment charges. The list goes on and on. Not the best start to a campaign. George Washington University law professor Jonathan Turley said that the indictment may rhetorically box in President Biden due to his long-held denials of knowledge or participation in his son's foreign business deals. So yes, you've got that aspect to it as well. He equated it to Bill Clinton's original claim during the Monica Lewinsky scandal. I mean, basically Biden is saying, quote, I did not have interactions with these people. It didn't work for Clinton. And it's even more insulting here, he added, pointing to a poll showing a majority of Americans, including Democrats, a swath of Democrats, telling pollsters they don't believe Biden on this front. But what the president is facing is a trap of his own making, said Turley. He ran for office assuring the American people that he had no knowledge of these transactions. That has been directly contradicted. Hunter Biden himself contradicted his father on that. But you have Hunter's close associates saying that that's absolute nonsense, that of course he knew. So we're tying these all in together as we enter campaign season. Less than a year, we'll know who the next president will be. Now, Alan Dershowitz said because if it becomes an impeachment concern, then half the country won't believe it. This is talking about the indictment. Half the country will. The same thing happened with Trump. But if there's a special counsel who's credible and who can get to the bottom of this and either clear President Biden or accuse President Biden, I think the American people will accept that. My suggestion has been that a group of very distinguished people recommend 5 people to Garland and tell him to pick from those 5 people. Nobody from inside the Justice Department, nobody who's involved in politics, people of the stature of Archibald Cox, who was a special prosecutor appointed in the Nixon case. Everybody believed that case's verdict. The New York Post editorial board says this is a case the Fed should have brought against Hunter Biden in the first place. And I would tend to agree with that. It would have taken off the table the idea that it was a sweetheart deal. Hunter Biden's indictment on tax charges already is eliciting howls on the left, who feel the case has been politicized. But the details show that the real scandal was a sweetheart deal Hunter was offered in the first place, compared to what he is now facing. Now, if you look at how he spent his money, they say this was not an ordinary accounting mistake. Hunter Biden went out of his way to avoid paying taxes and subverted the payroll and tax withholding process of his own company. It was a scheme to not pay Uncle Sam, but instead pay the gentleman's club, as they put here. After dithering for years, Hunter was originally offered a no jail, no fault misdemeanor plea that would send him merrily on his way. Why? The evidence seems pretty clear that the Justice Department was trying to bury this in favor of his father. It took a small number of brave whistleblowers, and we cannot discredit, or we cannot forget, I should say, the straight-talking judge that would not allow this misjustice to occur. It has all the elements of a crusade, and this I think was, and this is the reason I mentioned it, I think this is a very, very good point. This has all the elements of a crusade progressive politicians and the liberal media should love. Yet they've scoffed every step of the way, in some cases being the reporting being censored or silenced, or you had lies such as, well, this could be Russian misinformation, these type of things. But I thought this was another good point. Whistleblowers are heroes when they're up against Donald Trump, but, quote, not credible when they speak against the Bidens. And going after a rich tax dodger is the kind of thing AOC wore that dress to the Met Gala for. But for today, at least, a travesty has been undone. Hunter Biden will have his day in court and have to defend his case like anyone else accused of a crime and not be given a pass in a secret backroom deal. Okay, because I'm kind of beating around the bush and not telling you exactly some of the most salacious details of this, you can go to Fox News and they give you the 5 most salacious details from the Hunter Biden indictment. But we are early morning, and I know kids are headed to school, and their favorite part of the day is watching Frankly Speaking. I just can't go into the details. So stay with us. We've got to take another short break. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox will be right back.
Isn't your wellness important? Don't you want more energy? Now's the best time to make every day better and relieve those achy muscles and pains than with the Hesselsen's Hot Tub. Hesselsen's has hot tubs in stock and available for immediate delivery with unbelievable savings. Hesselsen's offers 0% interest-free financing for up to 5 full years. Hesselsen's carries the only hot tub brand in the industry with the exclusive freshwater salt system that is eco-friendly and easy to use and only enhances your hot tubbing experience. Come in today and see why your next hot tub should be a Hesselsen's hot tub. And remember, it's always fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsen's.
Stay tuned. This 5-piece bakeware set, a $60 value, absolutely free. Tired of that pan that always sticks? It's so scratched and worn, you can't cook in it.
Hi, Chef Daniel Green here with my new hammered pans from Gotham Steel. This complete 9-piece set is guaranteed to beautify your kitchen like never before.
Gosh, what I love most about this design is this hammered copper look. It would just look so fantastic hanging in my kitchen.
Wow, this is a beautiful pan. It looks great. Look at those eggs dancing around in there. I tell you, I'm sold. Where do I get these? I love them.
Hammered pans are ultra non-stick. Nothing sticks. Even gooey mac and cheese slips out with ease. And look, these sticky candies melted with a torch are no match for hammered pans. Plus, they're super durable, so use metal beaters straight in the pan for a gourmet souffle that slips out and a pan that looks just like new. They're even oven safe up to 500 degrees. So bake homemade chicken pot pie, cheesy lasagna, or this whole chicken dinner. Any recipe looks great in these pans. From steak flambe to delicious desserts and delicate fish, nothing sticks. Plus, the entire set is dishwasher safe and PFOA free.
Similar sets are over $1,000, but you won't pay that. Not $500 or even $300. Get the full 9-piece Gotham Steel hammered set for just 5 payments of $49.99, and we'll even ship it to you free. But order now and we'll drop 1 payment. That's just 4 payments of $49.99, and we'll even guarantee it for a full 10 years. Plus, we'll include this free steamer and strainer, and our 5-piece bakeware set with every pan you'll ever need to make delicious breads, cakes, and desserts. Together, these These are an $80 value, yours 100% free. That's a huge 15-piece set with free shipping. Call or click now.
To order, call 1-800-603-3404 or go to buyhammered.com. That's 1-800-603-3404, or you can order online at buyhammered.com.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom, broadcasting live very smoothly from the Hesselson studio on Marcus Street in Corning. Do I want to go to... Well, okay, let's stay on track. I did receive some messages during the break. As you see on the bottom of your screen, the phone number, you can contact me at any time. And I would highlight that it could be after the program as well. The president will simply pardon his son. So Hunter could probably get away with murder. That's an interesting point. Obviously, he could pardon his son, but boy, that's a tough sell during a campaign. That will not go over well. Yes, of course, the media would do the best to say, well, this is only right. He's just protecting his son. And we saw that frequently in the past. Remember, someone said, stop talking about Hunter. Joe Biden loves his son, and his son has had drug issues. Those are the two major talking points. That Joe Biden loves his son, and that Hunter Biden had the struggles with addiction in the past, but that does not negate not paying your taxes. So I think that is a good point, and I think we could maybe see that, and the media will try to do the best they can to spin it. I don't think that sits well with the American people, especially coming into an election season, or an election, I should say. Another comment. Hopefully, Hunter's problems will force the media to bring more of the president's real issues to light. And to that point, again, thank you for all the comments, House Republicans unveil the resolution to authorize the Biden impeachment inquiry. House Republican, they have introduced a measure to formally authorize the impeachment inquiry into President Biden for alleged corruption, setting up a key floor vote expected next week. This is interesting. The resolution directs 3 House committees to determine, quote, whether sufficient grounds exist to impeach the president for his alleged role in son Hunter and brother James Biden's foreign business ventures during his vice presidency. 2 sources told the New York Post that the House tentatively plans to vote Wednesday on that legislation, which was introduced by Representative Kelly Armstrong from North Dakota. So we'll keep you updated on that. That should be a very interesting vote, especially at a time when Republican majority is getting slimmer and slimmer. Did you see what Marjorie Taylor Greene said about that? Because we haven't had a chance to mention it because we've been working on the show, which I think we've proven ourselves on that. It looks great. That Kevin McCarthy looks like he's going to resign right at the end of the year, so less than a month. And so Marjorie Taylor Greene, they said, what do you think about this slimming majority? Because you got Santos. Boy, the list goes on and on. And she said, well, hopefully no one dies. Pretty blunt talk from Marjorie Taylor Greene. But back to this impeachment inquiry. Mike Johnson said, I did not. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. The president said, I did not, and it's just a bunch of lies, meaning have these business dealings. They're lies. I did not. They're lies. When actually asked by a reporter at the White House. He's not the best with tough questions. So Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, said the president just lied again. There are at least 22 examples of Joe Biden speaking with or meeting with Hunter Biden's foreign business associates. I'm not crazy about this guy's name, but I wanted to mention it before we go to break. What he had to say. There's a talk show host. You may be familiar with him. He made quite a bit of news in the last presidential election cycle. His name's Charlemagne the God. Now, he urged President Biden to deliver, quote, the ultimate Christmas gift this holiday season. And what that Christmas gift is, dropping out of the presidential race. Now, if I recall correctly, Charlemagne, not a supporter of Trump. And what he's saying here is, well, I don't want to put words in his mouth. He was commenting on Biden's speech to his donors saying, if Trump weren't running, I wouldn't be running. So Charlemagne said, this is Biden's ego talking. If you think there are other people who can beat him, step aside, Charlemagne said. I know you think you've got this in the bag. I know he thinks he's got this in the bag, but the polls say otherwise, right? I mean, many polls have Trump in the lead. And And if Biden has even a sliver of thought that someone else could beat him, step aside. I think this is funny. I want Biden stepping in to beat Trump the way I want him stepping in to defend me in a bar fight. I appreciate you caring, but I don't like our chances. That's a clever way of putting it in a way. I want Biden stepping in to beat Trump the way I want him stepping in to defend me in a bar fight. I appreciate you caring, but I don't like our chances. So he wrapped up saying the facts are Biden's not getting any younger. He's not going to get any more popular. He's not getting a new running mate. So please, Mr. President, give America the ultimate Christmas gift and step aside. Yeah, it is interesting when you see earlier in the piece it says Joe Biden 81, and you think, well, okay, but he has a whole nother year as president involving campaigning and all of that, and you add on top of that, he's asking for 4 more years after that. So you have a total of 5 years of this man potentially being in the most stressful of jobs. And you got to say, I add on top of that, what we all have, Democrats and Republicans, have that concern of where he's at today as compared to where he will be at in 5 years. Let's take another short break. We will be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, please stay with us.
Every piece of land has a story written by those who work it. Like the Caggianos, who are brewing their own legacy. Or the Upshaws, who DIY all the time. While the Nelsons play lead in their own adventure, 150 years in the making. There's a story in every piece of land. Run with us and start telling yours.
It's a Black Friday special at Lindsay Equipment. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 72 months on select John Deere models.
Is your cramped and cluttered? Is it impossible to find that shirt to wear and then even harder to fit it back in there? Not anymore. Introducing Space Triangles, the clever new hanging device that fits over any hanger to save you closet space in seconds. And now may be your last chance to get them for a low price. Now you can vertically hang multiple items, guaranteeing that you'll have up to 70% more space in your closet. Watch, your closet can go from messy to marvelous in no time with ease. And just look at all that extra space. Just place space triangles on each hanger and start hanging your clothing one after another, piece by piece. Daisy chain up to 6 shirts or more. The lower you go, the more closet space that'll show. The secret is the ingenious slip-over design that secures the hangers in a perfect vertical position.
This is hands down the easiest way to get more closet space. It took me just a few minutes to completely transform my closet, and now I can go shopping again.
It snugly fits all types of hangers, from plastic to wood to metal and velvet, and works with any type of clothing, from shirts and blouses to slacks and jeans, or designer dresses and big heavy suits. Stop searching through clutter for the right outfit. Now you can build an outfit and group it together so it's easy to find. Even hang purses, belts, and more. Just slide the space triangles onto any hanger and start hanging. You'll instantly create closet space like never before. Order now to get an 18-piece set of space triangles for just $9.99. But wait, due to rising costs and supply chain shortages, this may be your last chance to get space triangles at this low price. But you must act fast. There is a strict limit of 1 closet pack per order while supplies last. Once they're gone forever. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-957-1518. That's 1-800-957-1518. Call or visit spacetriangles.com. So call 1-800-957-1518. Order now.
Another beautiful day here on Market Street in Corning as we broadcast live from the Hesselson studio. I'm your host, Frank Acom, and you're watching Frankly Speaking. We're going to talk about the Republican debate and the field and Trump here in just a second. I have to say, so yesterday, a pre-taped show played as we were trying to get some of the bugs worked out, and at one point, it broke away trying to get onto a live program, and someone reached out, and you can reach out at any time. You see the number on the bottom of your screen, and said, it's interesting that you got cut off right during your discussion on RFK Jr. maybe hinting towards a conspiracy there. I want you to rest assured no conspiracy was taking place. That was my error, and I did not know that's what I was talking about at that point in the show. So no conspiracies there. There are other ones that you could take more seriously, but I got a kick out of that. Thank you for that message. So Republican debate, their ratings dropped 47%. Now, it is still the best day, I believe I read, for News Nation. That was a major problem. The debate was on News Nation and CW. I had many people come up to me and say, where can I watch this? Do I even get these channels? I do not have an answer for you on that. The fourth GOP primary debate drew just over 4 million viewers. But this is a trend. The ratings have steadily decreased during these debates. The audience for the 2-hour debate dropped 47% from the third debate back in November on the 8th, and an average of 7.51 million viewers tuned in to watch 5 White House contenders spar back on November 8th. So again, News Nation has to be excited about the numbers. It's kind of a fledgling station, but not where you'd expect. And I know many comedians, I'm not going to make the joke or highlight it, but many of the late night guys saying, kind of showing you the chances of these candidates that it's on these networks. There is a point to be had there. And then, again, if you watched it, many people saying that the candidates on the stage, because of the circular firing squad, made them all, according to this piece, look silly. And they asked the question, and this is with DNYUZ.com, saying, if they held a Republican primary debate and no one watched, did it even happen? It's almost as if the Republican National Committee preferred to disappear the event. Why would the RNC want to do that? Maybe because it's an outpost of Donald Trump's presidential campaign, which is running 47 points ahead of the second place Governor Ron DeSantis, and would prefer to wrap things up before a single vote is cast. That might sound anti-democratic, but it sort of makes sense, given the shape of the race. Yet the debate did happen, and it was a slugfest. In the end, like a proverbial circular firing squad, it mainly managed to diminish them all. Now, that is not what Todd Graham felt about the debate. Todd Graham is a professor of debate at Southern Illinois University. And he said something shocking about this debate. And now, again, Todd Graham works for CNN. So take it with a grain of salt. He said he witnessed the finest speech ever given in a presidential debate. Now, why is it such a fine speech? If you read between the lines, because it was Chris Christie's attack on Trump. He said that Chris Christie receives an A+. Since all great speeches should have a title, I'm naming it Chris Christie's Retribution Speech. Yes, the whole reason he likes it is because he went after Trump, which is Christie's shtick, but it's getting old. It's not. Listen, whatever you think. If you like Trump, you don't like Trump, I don't care. If you want to see a race, you've got to have, it's down to 4. You got to have about 2 people drop out of this. And it's not, Christie's not lasting. His shtick has run out. Nikki Haley received an A, by the way. Obviously, we see the mainstream media wants to push Nikki Haley and promote Nikki Haley, whatever you think about that, whatever red flag that raises for you. Ron DeSantis received just a C. DeSantis is still a C debater. He's not terrible. He's not terrific. He's just Ron. And finally, Ramaswamy received an F. So according to Todd Graham, who admits at the beginning, I've watched more than 8,000 debates. Admittedly, my life is not terribly exciting, he said. But he said that Chris Christie was the finest speech ever given in a presidential debate. Now, I know when you see articles like that, you say people can never put anything into perspective. And I think that may be a little bit of what we have here, a mixture of disliking Trump and wanting to prop up the guy that also dislikes Trump. We've got to take another break. Wow, we're moving quick this morning. Stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking.
Attention Marines and their family members who spent time at Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987. If you've been diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious illnesses, you could have been exposed to toxic water and may be eligible for significant compensation. Call the law firm of Betts & Burrell right now. Consultations are free and you won't pay a fee unless we get you the money you deserve. Call 877-775-5199 and speak to an attorney today.
Saturday night, the biggest game is on Fox Primetime Hoops. The Pac-12 and Big East collide as two of the nation's iconic programs square off.
None better than this.
Adembowale leads UCLA in an early season statement game as they look to take down Justin Moore at Villanova.
With the pound down.
Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox.
The biggest games are on Fox Primetime Hoops.
Quick, how many people do you see? One, maybe two? Guess again. As a pedestrian, you see headlights, but that doesn't mean the driver sees you. When walking at dawn, dusk, or after dark, make sure to be seen by oncoming traffic. Walk facing traffic. Wear light-colored, light-reflective clothing. Carry a bright light so drivers can see you. Use crosswalks. See and be seen. Pedestrian safety. It's no
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WGBC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We were just looking longer there at Marcus Street. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Thank you so much for joining us. Hard to believe we are nearly towards the end of this Friday broadcast. I received a text during break. Thank you so much. News Nation offers a free app. I was not aware of that. In the future, if they have more debates, I will make sure to bring that to your attention. Speaking of debates, there's like these bootleg debates. Did you hear about this? CNN has set up 2 GOP debates in January that are not sanctioned by the RNC, which I know McDaniel's been receiving quite a bit of criticism recently. Okay. But anyway, bootleg debates coming up. I'll let you know. Going off script, not sanctioned by the RNC. Interesting. Speaking of presidential race, former President Trump. I want to hear from you. I'm not going to make an opinion on this. This is me, as I try to do, stay neutral. There is a report out there coming from, and I'm getting it from the New York Post, but they're not the one with the initial report, I don't believe. Melania Trump is pushing for her husband to pick Tucker Carlson as his 2024 running mate. What is your thoughts on that decision, if that were to happen? The former First Lady believes that Tucker would be a, quote, powerful on-stage extension of her husband. Okay, the original report was coming from Axios. Axios bringing up the original report. But obviously there's a lot of competition. He's been considering J.D. Vance, Senator J.D. Vance, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, interesting, Kristi Noem, Byron Donalds, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, according to, again, Axios. So there you are. Melania says that Tucker Carlson should be Trump's VP. Again, I want to hear what you have to say about it, and I'll read it at the end of the program if we have time. But, wow, speaking of time, we've got to take our last break, and then we're going to wrap things up here on Frankly Speaking. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Come fish Lake Erie. Walleye, muskellunge, lake trout, perch, bass, steelhead. Come fish Lake Erie. Watch Sundays at 11 a.m. on MyTV.
Hanging light really hard work and takes too much time. Introducing the Star Shower Ultra 9 Laser Light Show. Now with an incredible 9 different decorative light patterns for you to choose from that immerse your entire home with thousands of spectacular lights. You can select red and green lights that move like shooting stars, or instead have your lights blinking, or choose twinkling stillness. Star Shower has an automatic light sensor that will turn it on at night and off in the morning. Plus, it's weather resistant and can withstand freezing temperatures. Call or go online now to order Star Shower Ultra 9 for just $29.99 and ask about how to get the Star Shower remote. All it takes is the press of a button to change all 9 functions. Star Shower sells out every single year, so this year there's a strict limit of 3 per order. This offer is not available on Amazon, so call or click now.
Call 1-800-646-1686 or visit ultra9.com. So call 1-800-646-1686 or visit ultra9.com now.
It takes all types to play Family Feud. The Blunt Mama.
If you knew Steve Harvey was at your door, you'd answer it wearing what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Weeknights at 7 and 7:30.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We're broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. New York lawmakers, specifically Senators Brad Holman Seigel and Liz Krueger and others, are trying to boot Trump off the 2024 ballot here in New York State. They have asked the State Board of Elections to remove him, saying that he is in violation of the Constitution's insurrectionist disqualification clause. Now, their effort mirrors one already underway in Colorado that is facing Colorado Supreme Court. I don't know. I think if you're asking me, those are the type of things, those I know they're going to get their name in the media, but I think what you're doing is, in a way, playing in to Trump's narrative that the quote-unquote deep state is out to get him. Whether or not you agree with that narrative, he is very effective at pushing it, and these people are very good at playing right into his hands on that. As I mentioned earlier, Marjorie Taylor Greene, talking about the shrinking GOP majority, said, quote, hopefully no one dies. Now in 2024, we have a 1-seat majority in the House of Representatives. Congratulations, Freedom Caucus. Yeah, that's the Matt Gaetzes of the world. Congratulations, Freedom Caucus, for one, and 105 Republicans who expel our own for the other. I can assure you Republican voters didn't give us the majority to crash the ship. Hopefully, she added at the end, no one dies. By the way, quickly, Biden said if Ukraine aid is not passed, U.S. troops will be deployed to fight Russia. Also, according to Newsweek, Biden wants to give 500,000 Americans money to buy homes. Maybe right before November of next year. We are out of time for today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Thank you, everybody who joined us this week. I know we had our ups and downs, but I got to say, I think it looked great today. And I can't thank enough our engineering genius, Chris, who's in the back watching, making sure everything is running smoothly. He's put in a lot of effort this week, and I really, really appreciate it. And I'm really happy with how today's broadcast went. Make sure you join us starting Monday morning at 7 for Frankly Speaking, only on WYDC TV. Big Fox, have a great weekend, everyone.
If you struggle to keep up with conversations, if you have trouble hearing the TV or radio, Nano Hearing Aids wants to help you hear better. Because when you hear better, you're actually going to feel better and live a happier, even healthier life. And Nano Hearing Aids is offering not one, but 2 very special, possibly once-in-a-lifetime offers. Special offer number 1, when you buy any Nano OTC hearing aid, Nano will give you a pair of personal sound amplifiers, absolutely free. If you have a little trouble hearing but don't need a hearing aid, these are great. Special offer 2. Today, Nano is offering an amazing deal on their CIC Recharge OTC hearing aids. Today, you can order a full pair of completely in-canal Recharge OTC hearing aids for only $297. Plus, Nano offers great financing. Payments from only $26.81 a month, 88 cents a day. But supplies are limited, so call now.
1-800-219-0286. 1-800-219-0286.
Getting aerial video for a commercial used to be extremely expensive, but not anymore. WYDC TV Big Fox now offers the Twin Tiers amazing aerial video for your business. We do it with our state-of-the-art drone and commercially licensed aerial pilot. Beautiful HD aerial video and pictures custom-made for your commercial. Call or email now to advertise on Big Fox TV and let everyone see your business in a whole new way.